Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Please note that all attendees during the main portion of this program will be muted and we will be monitoring videos. If we feel it necessary, we may turn off your camera if there is a distraction. If you have any questions for our speakers during the demonstration, please feel free to unmute yourself. Should you have any technical difficulties during the event, rest assured there will be a recording. For optimal viewing, please make sure that you're in speaker view, not gallery view, which can be found in the top right corner of your screen on a computer or the top left corner of your screen on a tablet. If you're interested in learning more about Jewish National Fund, please reach out to any one of our JNF professionals or Beverly Gutterman at bgutterman@jnf.org.
Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Cheryl Becker. I live in Springfield, New Jersey, and I am the co-chair of the Central New Jersey Young Families Committee. JNF Young Families is a growing community of donors with children who are passionate about Israel and the Jewish National Fund. I'm thrilled to see you all joining us today. This is the first in a series of get-togethers for young families in our area. We wish we could all be together in person, but given the current pandemic, we know that is not possible. So we hope this next hour will still provide an opportunity to do something fun together, make some new friends, and learn a little bit about the amazing Galilee Culinary Institute. I would like to introduce you to our special guest today, Limor Levy. Limor is a baking maven and an Instagram sensation. Born and raised in Netanya, Israel, over the years, she developed and nurtured her love and passion for baking, eventually leading her to start her business, Tasteful Creations. Known for her kosher pariv confectionery delights, Levy makes one-of-a-kind desserts and baked goods and shares a taste of it with the world through Instagram. And now she's with us today. So Limor, welcome and take it away.
Limor is muted.
Okay, can you hear me? Good. All right, so I'm very, very honored to be here today. And I'm super, super excited to go visit the Culinary Institute in Israel when I go there this summer. But most of all, I'm just happy to share a little bit of fun cookie decorating with you guys today because Chanukah is coming up and Chanukah is super, super fun for so many reasons. Mostly Chanukah is all about the oil and frying. So today we're not going to be frying. We're going to do something a little bit different, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So I just want to go over a few things that you need to have with you in case you don't. Everybody should have made their own cookies. Doesn't matter what shapes, we're going to go over different things. We need sugar, white sugar, we need confectionery sugar, we need food coloring, we need a few bowls, spoons, and water. All right, so there's our ingredients, okay? All right, again, if you don't have something, this is being recorded, so you can always go back and look at it. I picked a few different shapes to do with you today. The circle is for a donut, if you want to make a donut. We did the star to do the Jewish star, the Israeli flag. Dreidel. Well, during the decorating, I would love to tell you a little story about why we play dreidel and where dreidel came from. And the last thing, which I have 2 stars here, but the last thing is our Chanukah, our menorah. Okay. So before we even start decorating, I'm going to move this to the side and we are going to get our white sugar and we are going to take a bowl. Okay. Everybody with me? I don't know what's happening, but I guess you can see the bowl. Josh, come here for 1 second. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are going to color, and we're gonna start with 3 colors right now so we don't overdo it, but you can pick as many colors as you want. So pick out 3 food colorings that you like. I would recommend doing a blue for sure. You could do a yellow because if you have a Chanukah and you want to do like a little fire, then I would do a yellow. You could do an orange for the inside of your dreidel. You could do any colors that you like. There is really, it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. Okay, so I'm going to start with, I'm going to take out a blue. And what I'm going to do is, you see my bowl is like mushing into the thing, but I think it's okay. Can everybody still see what I'm doing? Everybody good? Okay. So I'm going to take 2 tablespoons. It doesn't matter what type of spoon you're using or what size your spoon is. It's just measuring out the right consistency. So I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of sugar and I'm going to place it into an empty bowl. Okay. After I do that, I'm going to take my food coloring and I'm going to do a nice 1 drop of food coloring into the bowl. Okay. And then with your spoon, you're going to sort of like mix it and push it to the side of the bowl. Like at first it's going to look like it's not working, but keep working it. Keep taking that food coloring. If you want to put on a pair of gloves and do it with your fingers, you can, but it's definitely going to work. So what you're doing is you're pushing it against the bowl. So you're breaking it up. And as you see, it's starting to come. We want to make sure that the whole entire thing is turning to the color that you're using. I did blue. I don't know what color you're doing, but it's also easier to do with your hand, but you have to wear gloves because otherwise it will stain your hand. So just keep pushing it to the side of the bowl because that's how it's going to break the food coloring. And mix your sugar until you get the exact color you need. You could stop at blue and white, so you have like almost like a tie-dye, or you could continue until it's completely blue. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to show you. I'm almost done here. If you need a little bit more food coloring, you can add it, but you shouldn't need too much of it. All we're doing is we're coloring our sugar, so we have fun things to do. All right, so here's my blue. How are we doing? We're good. Give me a thumbs up. Perfect. So now what you want to do is we're going to go with 3 colors for right now. Okay. So you're going to get another bowl, put this one on the side, leave the spoon in there. You're going to take another bowl and you're going to make another color. Okay. The same thing. We're going to take 2 tablespoons of sugar. And this time I'm going to actually take yellow. My yellow is closed. All right, I'm going to try another color. This is a new package of food coloring, so I'm going to go with the green. Okay, again, it starts out with just a dot in there, but once you mix it up, then now you have really nice colored sugar. Okay, you're welcome to make as many colors as you like. I'm going to just move on after we make 3, just so we can show you different ideas of what we're using this for. But obviously after we're done, you're welcome to keep using it. It's really, really cool. And I can tell you some other fun things you can use this for Chanukah. That's not cookie related, but that's also food related. Okay, so here's my green. How come I can't? Josh, my bowl is white. You can't see what I'm making.
I think because you have the background on, so it just picks up the background. Because when it's picking up the background.
Let me try it on this bowl.
Okay.
He thinks it's because it's a green bowl. Is this better? No.
No, because it's picking up the JNS background, the white of the background.
Oh. Okay.
I think
So it's
push
picking
it
up.
more, hold it more forward, the bowl. There, kind of, yeah. It's like front of the background, or take the background off, one of the. Don't worry.
This is not working. All right, we can take off the background. I have a green screen. It's not going to look as pretty, but basically, you see how it's in the white, Josh?
Yeah, so just take off that.
Okay, so take off the background. Is it going to look bad?
It's just gonna be green.
Hold on. We're going to take off the background so everyone can actually see what it's supposed to look like. Sorry. All right, and there's my green screen. Okay, so here's my green food coloring. Okay, and here's my blue food coloring. And my last color that I'm going to pick, maybe I'll do like an orange. Okay. I'm taking 2 tablespoons again. Oh, now you guys can really see what I'm doing. And I'm going to do 1 drop. A little drop goes a long way. And it depends on what brand of food coloring you use. Sometimes you really need to add, and that's okay. With baking, like we talked about before everybody came on, I was explaining how ovens are not all the same, and it's very important to have a thermometer in your oven because that really tells you the temperature that you actually need to make the cookies or whatever it is that you're baking to have the right finish and that they don't burn or they're not too raw. And here is my orange. I'm almost done. And this is easier to mix with your fingers, but again, you need to wear a glove because otherwise you'll have food coloring stuck on you for a while. Okay, so now I have my orange. So I have my 3 colors. Okay, let me know who's ready for the next step or who's still working on their sugar. Take your time. Are we good? Yuval, just let me know if we're ready for the next step.
We are ready. We got lots of thumbs ups.
Amazing. Okay, good. I don't see everybody. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we made this all beautiful colored sugar. Okay. But what we need is we need some sort of a glue to have that sugar stick onto the cookie. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like after, but I'm also going to make it with you. This is confectionery sugar mixed with the right amount of water. And you use this as a glue, you just paint it with a paintbrush, okay? So basically, even if you're going off topic, but even if you're making yourself a donut or you need a glazed topping for a cake, if you make a thicker consistency of confectionery sugar and water, all you're doing is drizzling it right onto a cake and then you have yourself a beautiful glaze, all right? Okay, so now I'm gonna take a bowl, okay? And I'm going to take my confectionery sugar, which I have, and I'm going to take 4 tablespoons. The trick with confectionery sugar is you put a tiny bit of water in it, then it completely melts. So it's very important to go a little bit at a time with water. So for 4 tablespoons, I like to start with 1 tablespoon of water. You put it on top, and then you mix it really well. I like to use the back of the spoon to break up the confectionery sugar, and I like it looking very glazy. I don't want it to be too liquidy. And you see, confectionery sugar just disappears into the water. It's pretty amazing how that works. At the end, if we need a little tiny more water, we can add it. But right now, the consistency is perfect because you want it to be whitish and you want it to stay like a glaze. Okay, so keep.
Lemore, I'm sorry, can you just repeat how much water you used?
Yes, so I used 4 tablespoons of confectionery sugar and 1 tablespoon of water. Okay, the less water you use, the nicer your glaze will be. So if you're making a bundt cake or you're making, people always want to know, they're like, how did they get that nice thick white glaze? Don't put too much water. The less water you use, the thicker and the nicer glaze it is, because it is going to still be liquidy. But look, you see my glaze? It's still liquidy and but it's white. It's not clear.
And don't forget, you can always add more powdered sugar if it's too watery.
Exactly. Thank you for that. So if you by accident put too much water, you can always add confectionery sugar until you get the right consistency. But when you are pouring water, I always recommend don't pour water over your bowl in case you put too much, but a tiny at a time, because it melts really, really quickly into it. And you want that nice white, like a glaze, you see?
Mm-hmm. All good.
Okay, for this kind of, for what we're doing right now, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be as white and thick, but you don't want too much water on your cookie because you don't want your cookie to become too soft.
Right.
Okay, are we good?
All
Okay.
good.
So now I'm going to bring back my cookies. And if anyone is in the crowd that wants to answer any questions for me, I'm going to start with a dreidel. Okay, can someone tell me like why, where did the dreidel come from, or why we play with the dreidel? Like what's the story behind our dreidel? Anyone?
Yeah, we know. Can we try?
Of course.
Want to try?
Yeah, they
Come closer.
the Yodim played with it whenever they were inside the hiding from the bad guys. They played with it inside the places, and whenever they come, they hid them.
That's very good. And that's excellent. What's your name?
Nati.
Beautiful. You said exactly what it is. So I'm just going to repeat it. So what he said is that the Jewish children, the Jews were not allowed to learn Torah. They weren't allowed to learn anything that had to do with Judaism. But they really wanted to learn Torah, and the rabbis really wanted to continue teaching them. So they would go into these caves, they would go into hideaway places, and they would teach them. But as soon as the Greeks would find out that they're there, they would send a bunch of horses, a bunch of guys, and they would say, go get rid of them. Like, go do something bad to them. They shouldn't be doing that. So they made up this cute little game called dreidel. I don't know if it looks exactly like the dreidel that we have today, because later in years we added the initials on it, Nes Gadol Haya Sham or Nes Gadol Haya Po. But basically it was something that you just started twisting and it turned. So it's a fun game. And all of a sudden they would show up and everyone would be playing and jumping up and down and saying, I won, and look at this. And they would be like, wait, we heard that people are doing something else in here. We're sorry, a mistake. And then they would leave and then they would continue learning Torah. So it's pretty cool, the background of this. So now that we talked about dreidel, I want to show you something really fun that we could do. So this is where your paintbrush comes in. Does everybody have a paintbrush?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you don't have a paintbrush, it's okay. Use a clean finger. Use a pastry brush. We're very, I'm going to use a small, make sure your paintbrush is clean. And what you're gonna do is you are going to take a little bit of your glue of the confectionery sugar. And what I'm gonna do with my dreidel is I am going to outline I'm going to outline my dreidel all the way around, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to paint it, make sure that there's enough paint on it, not that it's going to drizzle all over the place, but make sure you don't get the paint anywhere else but the outline, if that's what you want to do with me today. If you don't have a dreidel, you can actually trace a dreidel onto a square cookie. Okay, and then what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to take my blue food coloring, and over my bowl, I am going to pour my blue food coloring onto my cookie. And the only part that it's sticking to is the part that I traced. Sometimes you have to go over it once or twice because it comes through and it looks beautiful. And so far, this is where I am. Is that cool?
I have a question. When you made the food coloring sugar, was that regular sugar? Not
Regular white sugar.
Oh, I think I messed up. Okay, thanks.
You use confectionery? Okay, sorry. So the confectionery sugar was for the glue. But you know what? Did it turn blue?
Kind of. I mean, I can add water and make the royal icing. I could try whatever. I'll figure it out. Don't worry.
Or you could just put that on and it may be a little bit chunkier and look really, really cool. So try it. Try it. It can't hurt. It's food. It's yummy. It's good. So this is what I did. I didn't want to color my entire dreidel. You could paint your whole entire dreidel and do that. I wanted to do another coat of a different color. So now I'm going to go back because now that this is all nice and coated, I'm going to go back now and I'm going to trace again on the outside of my blue, on the inside actually of my blue. And I'm going to try to use another color because I think that would be really, really cool. Almost looking like it's not stained glass, but it would really be cool. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my orange and put it all around. You see? And then to finish it off, you could do, again, paint the inside. You could go back to the blue and do like a pattern, or you can do a totally new color. Don't be afraid of it. It's just so much fun. You can play around with it and it's completely delicious. I'm gonna actually use my green for the inside. And this is my dreidel. Now, if you don't have cookie cutters that are in shape of Chanukah, you can always just, with your glue, you can always, like you're drawing, make yourself a star in a square cookie or make yourself a dreidel on a square cookie, put your sugar on it, and then continue decorating it. You don't have to have the cutters if you don't have them. And when you're done, I would love to see what you guys did so far. Oh, excellent. Oh, beautiful. That's awesome.
Celine, can you show your cookie again? It was really cool. It looks almost tie-dye.
Yeah, let me see.
Go down a bit.
Is that with the confectionery sugar?
You're muted. Unmute.
Yeah, so I totally messed up
I love it.
and I wasn't following directions, but like Lee Moore said, I said, she's right, try it. It's cute.
It looks great. It's almost like pop like candy. No, I love it.
It looks like pop candy
Totally.
in person.
That's really, really cool. And I'm sure it's just as tasty.
I'm sure my kids
And
will.
look
eat
at your fingers.
it. Another story. Yeah. I should have worn the gloves.
Yes, it's okay. Anybody else want to share their cookie? What do we got there? Oh, beautiful. With him on your lap. Okay, at least he's having applesauce.
Oh, but he's not having it yet, right? Nice.
Very nice. All right, so now we're gonna move on to our next cookie. I want to show you another fun thing that you could do. Okay, so no matter what shape that you have, what you could do is that I'm gonna go to my star. I could totally like make different of the size, different colors, but what really fun thing that you could do, no matter what kind of cookie you have, is that you can actually just make a line this way, make a line that way, almost like a boxy kind of design. Like leave some squares open, but try to, I don't know if you could see, I just did a few different lines going different directions. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my sugar on it so I know what I did and what I need to do next. So you see what happened? This is what I have so far. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some more lines going in totally different ways. And I'm going to use another different color. And I'll try using my blue.
So far, this is where I am.
So all you have to do is just color in a little bit different spots and then go back with the colors that you want to use. And it almost looks like a tie-dye kind of, again, you can also make a lot more colors, but it's super, really, really fun. And it's, and I'm going to show you my star now. Look how cool that is. And it looks so like professional because when it dries, it's raised. My kids gave me an idea because you could make, you know how they make those sour candies? You know, like the sour belts and all that stuff. It's by using sour salt. You add a little bit of that to your sugar. So if you ever wanted to make sugared cookies with like a sugar frosted like this, you add a little bit of sour salt to it and you have your sour sugar cookies.
Limor, we have a question in the chat.
Okay.
Veled wants to know, have you ever done this with stencils and how would you do that?
So the cookie part, the stencils, or
The decorating, I think.
decorating. So the way that you make royal icing is not really just with confectionery sugar and water. You have to use, there's a few other ingredients, and I'm more than happy after this session is over to give you an amazing recipe on how to make royal icing. Royal icing hardens. It's really fun. You could put it on top of your cookie and leave it off for 24 hours. And then you have like that nice hard rock. We talked about that earlier. So that's what I would use with the stencil. I would take my cookie, put the stencil on top, and usually I take a credit card, which is like not a real live credit card. Like I'll go to Starbucks and I take one of their cards and I use it totally for baking. And what you do is you hold the stencil down, you put a little bit of royal icing at the end of the card, and then you press it against the stencil carefully. And then that's where you would pick up your stencil. Did that answer your question?
Yes, and she would very much like the recipe, so we'll be sure to
For
include
sure,
that.
because you use for that recipe you need cream of tartar, and you need there's like a meringue powder, and I can also give you the link on Amazon on how to get it. But it's really a very easy recipe to make, and that really hardens really fast. So it's like that's how you make royal icing cookies. So, which we can always do for another time. Royal icing cookies, I do classes on that, and they're super super fun. And also you can also for any of you who have Instagram, under Tasteful Creations by Lee Moore. If you have any questions or you see something on there and you want to know how to make it, you can definitely private message me, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or give you a recipe or whatever it is that you need.
So as a follow-up question, so if the background of royal icing is white, then do you use food coloring? How else does it show up on a cookie or a cake that you're decorating?
So royal icing, I'm going to show you. Actually, Josh, quickly, can you go to my room and bring me like a Hanukkah cookie that has all the royal icing on it? I could show you exactly how it looks. I actually have them made. Okay, so basically when you do a royal icing cookie, you always put on the white first, and then you always decorate on top of that, because you need sort of like that nice layer. But the trick about royal icing cookies is that they have to completely dry for a good, I let mine dry. I have a dehydrator, but I let mine dry for 3 days before I even touch them, because it takes a while for the royal icing to set. And if you don't let it set, it will crush. So here's a dreidel. You guys see? Here's a dreidel that has royal icing on it. Okay, so this is the part where it's hard now because it's been in my back room now for a few days. And this is where I would put, and I have downstairs, I just don't want to leave the screen. This is where I would put the stencil right up here. And then I would take my card, or just going with this, that this is a card, you put your stencil, you put your new color of royal icing right at the edge here. And then all you're doing is you're smearing it on right onto the stencil. You pick it up carefully, and then you have whatever design you want right on your cookie. Good?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so if you go on my page on Tasteful Creations by Lee Moore on Instagram, I ran a summer camp this summer for high school girls. And you could see the amazing creations that they made out of royal icing. Like they got to choose their cookie cutters. They made ducks, they made airplanes, they made hearts, they made the most magnificent. We worked with royal icing and we worked with fondant, and it was super fun. And it's not hard when you take a small lesson on what you need to have and what you need to do. And then you could totally make a business out of it. You can have so much fun.
Are we?
All right.
Yep.
The next cookie that I have here is a Chanukah. I don't know how much time we have. How are we doing on time? We have another 5 minutes, but the next one is a Chanukah. And we light a Chanukah for 8 nights. And who can tell me what the story is and why 8 nights and why not 7 and why not 9 and why not 12? Anyone there? I think I see Raya there. Is that Raya?
Oh, she's getting picked on.
Hi, Raya Leeds. I knew Raya when she was in diapers. That's really cute.
Sure, Raya would be happy to answer the question.
Raya, tell me, why do we light for 8 days? Like, what's the story behind the menorah, Chanukah?
3-year-old meltdown. So we'll let someone else answer.
All right. Anyone want to answer?
Okay. Come. Raya, just answer.
Because the oil. What? I don't know the answer.
Don't know the answer.
So cute. Well, what here? I know I'm putting you on the spot, so I don't want to embarrass you. But what happened with the oil? Was there enough oil for 8 days?
Yeah, like lasted 8 days.
It lasted 8 days, right? There was a tiny oil left. They just finished the war, like everything was like burning. There was nothing left. And all of a sudden they found a tiny drip of oil, which you and I and everybody else knows that that's gonna last a minute, not even. That's not enough oil to do anything with. But they decided to light it because they had it. And it lasted, it was a miracle. It lasted 8 days and 8 nights. And that means that like they didn't even blow it out and redid the flame every morning. It went on and on and on for 8 days. So just like so many different miracles of Hanukkah that we see. We talked about the dreidel and how the kids stayed safe. And we talk about the menorah and how it lasted for 8 days. And we talked about just so many different things that it's really amazing when you look at it and you look at the stories behind them and you really understand them, that it's amazing and it's fun to celebrate it. And we get to eat good stuff out of all of it. Okay, so that's our Chanukah. So again, if you want to start by just painting a little bit of the candles and using that as yellow and orange, and then after you sugar it, you can continue doing the rest. I did put in, this is more fun when you use royal icing, but this is the last one I wanted to show you that could really be fun because I didn't want to mess up on my royal icing. But I wanted to show you, if you wanted to do a tie-dye donut, then this is what we need to do. You take your royal icing. Let me get my royal icing back here. You take your royal icing and pick one fun color that you want. Like, what kind of donut do you want? Okay, so I'm going to pick, you know what? I'm going to go with blue because it's Hanukkah. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do into my royal icing now, into my glue. I'm going to put a drop, but don't mix it. Okay, guys? So just pay close attention to this. 1 drop. Okay. All right, so what I'm doing with it, and then with the back of my paintbrush, I'm going to just swirl it. I'm not mixing it. I don't want it to get mixed. I'm just swirling it, and I'm going to show you what it looks like swirled. Do you see it? Can you see that? Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my donut, or you could take your dreidel, or you could take your Chanukah, and very carefully, I'm going to dip it into my confectionery sugar that we made to use as glue. And then I'm going to pick it up super carefully and check out my glazed. This is almost like stained glass. Hold on, I just don't want it to drip on the computer because I want to bring it closer. Let me get a napkin. And I'm going to show you how super cool is this donut. You see that? So that's another fun thing that you could do. You take some confectionery sugar and water. Make sure it's thick though. Don't water it down. Put a little bit of food coloring in it. Don't mix it all the way, and you have so many different colors. Do you see that? Oops. Hold on. I lost him. Wait, Joshua, I lost him. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. So here's our donut. And then you have to let it completely dry. And then you have an edible donut. And then you don't need all the stuff for royal icing. It's almost like a royal icing. The thicker the icing is, the nicer your donut's gonna look. You could do that with a donut. You could do it with, I'll do it with a dreidel just to show you that it can work with anything. Look at that. Okay, but when you're doing it, make sure that you let it drip to the bottom because you don't want it all over your napkin. You want it to get rid of all the enough, and then look. You see it? And there you have it. Just some fun tricks
Great.
Make Hanukkah funner.
Thank you. Limor, we're going to come back to you in 2 secs because we have somebody on who needs to go but we'll come back to you just when he's finished, if that's okay.
No, it's good. I'm good. I'm done. It's awesome.
But thank you. And yeah, because I wanted you to tell everyone about that rolling pin afterwards. Okay. All right. So I wanted to just welcome Alon Bahidi. He has kindly, thank you so much, agreed to come on from Israel to talk to us about the Galileo Culinary Institute. Nathan Hoffman is the CEO of the Galilee Culinary Institute, and unfortunately had a family emergency. So thank you, Alon, for standing in at such short notice. Really appreciate it. Could you just tell people on the call what the Galilee Culinary Institute is, and then when you're finished, if there's 1 or 2 questions, we can take it, and then we'll show a quick video about it.
Yeah, gladly. Good afternoon, everybody. It was an amazing seminar that you just shown us, Limor. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
I'm sure you have like billions of followers. So you should be proud. Thanks.
Thank you.
We all wish to Nathan and the family, great news, b'sorot tovot. Just talk to him. I hope it will be okay. I'll give you a brief about GCI, the initiative, the ideas, the vision. First, about orientation. I don't know how many of you have been to Israel before. You can raise your hands, ask questions. You've been, Bev, you, Limor, okay? So, yeah, I know, and the children, the family. So, the Galil is located somewhere in the slopes between the Golan Heights and the Lebanese border. It's a few miles of Lebanon. This is our hot border. And on the other side, the Golan Heights is a very peaceful border with well-known, the only snow mountain overlooking the Hula Valley, Mount Hermon. And we, GCI, the Culinary Institute, is located right in the middle between the Hula Valley and billions of a variety of birds coming every winter to get some great weather in Israel from all over Europe. And Mount Hermon, Lebanese border, which is hot and attracts many people from all over the world to see this miracle of how peaceful Israel and a unique, peaceful, inviting, green, full of water Galil mountains live along this hot border. This is why, exactly why, we picked the Upper Galil as the destination for the Culinary Institute to attract all those people who wants to see, on one hand, what is the meaning of superpower country on the culinary field. Israel, I remind you, I'm sure you all aware and know that Israel has the best variety of wine and cheese. Yes. We have wineries who won French and Italian seminar and test. And we have over 400 different cheese that being produced from in the north, from Haifa area up there to the Galil and Golan, and obviously on the south as well in the Negev. But I'm not talking about the Negev, about the desert at the moment. So I will stick with the Galil. We have the best cattle, kosher by the way. We have the best variety of fields and plantations, citrus as well, and the Negev, as I mentioned about the cheese. But the Galil is the green hub for all these agricultural herbs, obviously, and it's all being mixed with the variety of communities, agricultural communities, Jews, Druze, Bedouins, and Christians as well. Everybody brings its own unique food traditions from Russia, the Ural Mountains, Europe, and even from China. We do have some Korean, Asian citizens in Israel. So all this story brought us to realize that we have actually a merchandise in our hands. We have the best source for culinary traditions and practices, that why not to teach people from all over the world how to do it better, how to do it our way, while integrating different practices coming from all over the world through our maestro chef, Lior Lev Sarkaz. Have you ever heard about him, met him, visited one of his restaurants, or ordered the herbs he is doing secretly in a basement in New York and distributing all over the world? So altogether, with his know-how and experience, and our know-how how to build and establish and operate big organizations, JNF obviously, we have resolved to establish the Galil Culinary Institute to bring students from all over the world, especially from the US and local from Israel. And wow.
Wow.
This is impressive. This is what we want to build. And I don't know if it's a clip or just an illustration we did. Anyway, this is the back entrance. You know, when you build such a giant top class campus, there's no really back and main. It's a bit confusing. What we see here, it's two different buildings almost attached. It's about 5-6 meters between them. One of them, the left, where we have the JNF logo, he's holding on the lobby level. This is the lobby you see, the level you see here. On the lobby level, we hold a huge classroom auditorium. It will be all hooked with cameras to produce online seminars on different hours to fit Asians, US, Australia, and time-wise. We have a restaurant. The big door you see in front of you is the main entrance to the restaurant, where our new chefs will practice, train, and have their first practice before they go work for the leading restaurants in Israel, in France, and in the US, of course. In the basement level, it's not a real basement. I don't know if you have more pictures from the other side, because we are sitting on the slope of a big mountain. On our back is Mount Hermon, and down there you see between the buildings is the Hula Valley. So the second story, the -1 level, if you look from here, will hold mainly a very big kitchen, professional kitchen divided to so many different areas, and enable at least 20 students work parallel with their chef and guest chefs, and also some classes and seminars. This is mainly the function of building A, the left building, and on our right we see building B that is offering a chocolate factory, a bakery, a brewery, and kind of a pub next to the brewery. You know, you can't do without, and obviously have the option to offer some roof events, the rooftop with the great view I just mentioned. Today, none of this building B exists. Part of building A is already exists. This is an old neglected building we have to renovate, but this is engineering and technical. I don't want to get you through the process. We truly believe that next year, 2021, will be a construction year that will begin with building A, then we'll proceed to building B. In parallel, we'll renovate 2 old buildings in a approximate lot area that will be reserved for 20 students. It will be 20 luxury rooms, well equipped with even little kitchens for those who will still have the time and the joyous of cooking as well at night or during weekends, right before, until before Shabbat and right after Shabbat, because it's all a kosher campus, not kosher style. This will be kosher. All the kitchens will be built by the kosher restrictions by the Ministry of Health. It's dividing fish from meat and meat from obviously cheese, and then vegetables. It's all different categories, areas, siege with doors, automatic doors, by the way. It's going to be a top class structure, no doubt. So far, I think I covered most of the story, and I'm really available for questions. Feel free.
Do you want to, anybody have any questions, or we'll show you a quick video? Let's show the video and then we'll do questions if there's any.
Cool, I'm muting myself.
Okay.
I'm super excited to be sharing with you our upcoming Culinary Academy with the Jewish National Fund and myself in creating a unique international culinary center in the Upper Galilee in Israel.
Not a cooking school, a full-blown culinary arts school where you will learn everything about culinary arts, from the front of the house to the back of the house, from food security to food technology, from inventory to bookkeeping and accounting and running your own restaurant. Our students will be trained by top professionals and celebrity chefs that will be coming. And we will turn the Upper Eastern Galilee to the culinary capital of the world. Stay tuned.
Great, thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you, Alon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being involved. Thank you for taking care of the JNF initiative. I just want to add one sentence. This initiative is not a standalone initiative. We are taking care for the entire capital research of the food industry and food of tomorrow. We are establishing at the same time in Kiryat Shmona, which is the Galil hub, we're establishing the food tech center where we have young researchers and in a way completing the way of growing stuff and cooking by way of looking to the tomorrow in cooperation with a very large organization, international organization and local food chains. So just to tell you, this is part of a great initiative in the Upper Galilee.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Renee?
Hi, everyone. My name is Renee Nabadian, and along with Cheryl Becker, I am the co-chair of the Central New Jersey Young Families Committee. It's so nice to see everyone. I live in Livingston with my husband and 3 children, and we just love decorating our cookies. So thank you so much to me more. I was hoping we could go around and just quickly introduce ourselves, say where we're from, and if you can, just show us your cookies. So let's start with Celine. We'll just go through each box. If you want to turn to gallery view.
Thanks, Renee. My name is Celine Leeds. I know many of you. I'm the executive director for Central New Jersey. It's a pleasure to see everyone. This is my daughter, Raya, and we're thrilled to be here. Thank you. And I want to give a special shout out to Lee Moore, who's doing a great job, and she's a very dear friend of mine.
Thank you.
I'm Bev Gartman. You probably saw me. You've heard from me a lot. Here's my cookies. Whoops, there you go. My cookies. That's it. I live in West Caldwell, New Jersey, and I work at the JNF with Anna and Celine. Abby.
Hi, I'm Abby Mazer, and this is Raffaele. And we live in Springfield, and we're going to try and show you our cookies if we can. And my daughter Sydney was on the call too. I think she had the most fun at 2. She literally dipped all the cookies in sugar and then sat and licked all the sugar off. So she's now running around the house somewhere. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. We had the best time, and thanks enough to everybody.
Allison, are you there? No? Okay.
Hang on, you calling me?
Yeah.
Hi, sorry, it's a bit of chaos here. I couldn't put the screen on.
Okay. Wait, do you want to just tell us where are you from?
I'm in Central New Jersey and been in East Brunswick and been involved with the JNF Central New Jersey board, both the original Central New Jersey board and now the kind of new Central New Jersey committee board in formation.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think we lost a couple of people. I know I saw the Bergers on, Gary Berger and Audra. I think they left. And Yael, we somehow lost from Israel, who was on with her son. We saw her in the beginning. And then somebody else just checked out. So, okay.
So let me finish wrapping up because I know we're getting close to our 1 o'clock end time. So just wanted to make everyone aware that in February, as we get closer to Tu B'Shvat, we plan to have another event, a virtual scavenger hunt for families, specifically targeted to children and parents. So look out for information on that. At some point, we're hoping to bring in the JNF Fire and Rescue Program guests just to tell us a little bit about how fire trucks and fire rescue take place in Israel throughout emergencies as well as day-to-day life. So that should be interesting for children to hear and see. I mentioned the scavenger hunt in February. And always remember, feel free to reach out to Beverly Gutterman. She is our JNF professional. You can always reach out to myself as well as Cheryl Becker. And we just wish everyone a really happy Hanukkah. It was so nice to see everyone's faces. It's been a long pandemic, so we really appreciate everyone connecting in this way, and keep JNF in mind as you start thinking about holiday gifts. And that's pretty much it. So just thank you so much for everyone gathering, and it's so nice to see everyone's faces, and we hope to see you guys again at our next event.
Great. All right, thank you. Anna, did he have the cookie yet, or just because he's been so good?
I think we're gonna wait till Dad gets home so he can have his first dose of sugar.
He did great.
He decorated in spirit.
Perfect.
More, you have to see what Ryan made. I'm afraid to hold it up.
Oh, that's nice.
Isn't that cute?
That's gorgeous.
Celine, you have great skill.
It's not me, it's my daughter.
It's amazing. You see, like it dried, but you see how like
I love the tie-dye. It came out.
Yeah, the tie-dye was good. I did that one on the start. Yeah. It was
you
good.
didn't waste any ingredients.
Right. Perfect. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you. I know we lost a few people along the way, but I think everyone enjoyed the cookie decorating. It was great. Thank you. And happy Hanukkah, everybody. Hag Sameach. We'll see you.
Hanukkah, and thank you so much.
Right. Take care.
Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.